My mum was very happy living on her own. She had lots of friends, but she was a very private person. She kept herself to herself, and really, she didn't have any particular best friends as such. It was more myself and my sister. It was the three of us together, really. My mum used to call us the Three Musketeers, and she was like the big sister. I was very proud to have her as my mum. She always took care about how she looked and her house. Her house was always very smart and neat, and she'd got everything she wanted in her life.
Wendy was the receptionist at a marketing company on the outskirts of Wakefield. She set off for the bus stop each morning at about 8:30. An hour later, less than a mile from Wendy's house, Julie Smith was waiting for her bus to work.
I noticed this man coming towards me. He passed by really close. I remember he was acting strange, looking about him a lot. By then my bus had arrived and I didn't see him again after that.
Look, I'm sorry about this, David. It's just that with Tracy living down south and I'm 52 next birthday.
Recently, Wendy had decided to leave Wakefield, and at work that afternoon, she handed in her notice.
And thanks for all the work you've done for us.
Oh, thanks, David. Thank you.
It's now 5 o'clock. Julie had finished work and was on her way home. As the bus pulled up at her stop, she herself didn't notice the man she'd seen that morning still hanging around.
I realised that he was watching the young lady what lives next door, and he stood there for a moment.
Hello, I was wondering if you could help me. I've been walking about for 2 hours trying to find Flanshaw Drive. You any idea where it is?
I'm not quite sure. I think it might be down off Flanshaw Road.
He was acting strange, shifting around, and that's when I remembered him from the morning. I realised he was lying about the amount of time I'd been in the area. It made me nervous.
I didn't get all that. Could you get me a pen and paper?
I'm better off just saying it to you.
I remember he looked in his late 30s. He had brown eyes and was sort of medium build. I think he had a local accent.
Turn left down by the hotel.
By now I was really scared and I didn't know what I was saying. I thought he might push me inside.
Could I come in and use your phone?
No, definitely not. Anyway, my boyfriend's in the kitchen and he wouldn't like it. Look, I'm really sorry. I can't help you anymore. Okay?
I never normally open the door to strangers, but I suppose he caught me off guard.
Wendy's bus from work would have arrived at Wakefield town centre at around 6 o'clock. From here, it was just a short walk home. You may have seen her walking along Bourne Lane. This silk screen printer was nearing the end of his shift. The factory is directly across the street from Wendy's house.
I was looking out the window. The only reason why they caught me eye is because I've never seen anybody call at the house before. I'm pretty sure the woman lives there, but I've never seen the man before.
Perhaps the man was going through the same routine. Perhaps he'd asked Wendy for pen and paper.
Hey!
I remember being called away to the machine for a few minutes. When I returned to the window, the guy was leaving. Didn't think much of it at the time.
Wendy's body was discovered the next day when she failed to turn up for work. She'd been stabbed several times.
One pair of blue shoes.
A pair of shoes at the scene didn't belong to Wendy. And some of Wendy's own shoes had been disturbed.
We've all been affected so deeply, it's more than you ever imagine. Our life is just on hold, really, until the man responsible is caught. Some days we were very angry, and some days we're just numb. And it's just my mum was such a big part of our lives that it's just difficult to see how your life can be normal again.
Is this working?
I just miss her all the time. She's on my mind all the time.
And may the love you share today be always of the best. These moments you will treasure because they mean the most. So let us raise our glasses while I propose a toast to the bride and groom.
Bride and groom.
Well, that was just last September at Wendy's daughter's wedding. Detective Superintendent Taylor, what was the motive for Wendy's death?
I'm quite satisfied that when this man knocked on Wendy's door, his intention was to sexually assault her, which he did, and kill her. And he came prepared and brought certain items with him to do that.
One of those items was a pair of shoes. What's the significance of those shoes?
Well, the shoes are vitally important to the inquiry, and it is very important that we find the owner of these shoes. They were left outside a charity shop in Wakefield on Saturday, the 12th of March. The assistant at the shop found them in a bag outside, took them in, priced them up, and placed them on the shelf, and does remember a man purchasing them later on in the day.
So that was just 3 days before the murder?
That's right, yes.
Do you know what size these are?
No.
Could you try them on for me, please? Do you mind?
No. It's too small for me.
Why, what size are you?
7. These must be a 5 or 6.
OK, I'll take them.
Now, we didn't use the actual pair of shoes in the film there. What did the actual pair of shoes look like? We've got a picture of them there.
Yes, the actual shoes were last manufactured perhaps 6 years ago and have RP Ellen Oxford Street on the inside.
So it's very important that the owner should contact you if
Yes.
they recognise that.
The owner who got rid of those shoes wherever in Wakefield, please contact us.
You need to confirm that the man who tried those shoes on is the man you're looking for.
We do indeed.
He also brought a piece of candlewick material with him.
Yes, this was part of what he brought to the scene. It is a candlewick bedspread, and firms in the area of Wakefield actually cut these up into rags and they are sold. And it might be another link in the chain to identify the man.
And a pair of stockings that he brought too.
Yes, he prepared a pair of stockings and tied loops in them about 15 inches down from the top, which, although he didn't use them, would have fitted over someone's wrists. And it may be that someone in the past can piece that together.
What sort of man do you think would commit a crime like this?
Well, we've spoken to offender profilers and witnesses, and we've put together what we think is a picture of this man. He didn't alarm Wendy, so he would be of normal appearance and voice. Normal intelligence. I think that he may be local, although I don't discount that he could be just a visitor to the area. One of the witnesses described the possibility of some dark bands around the top of the arms on his bomber-style jacket, which is the same as the prison service issue, and therefore he may have been a previous offender for sexual offences. And the most disturbing part of all is that it may form part of a series and he could well strike again.
So you think there may be a prison connection and that he may want to commit more crimes like this, which means it's really important to find him. What does he look like?
It's very disturbing, yes. His description is of a man 35 to 45, 5'6" to 5'9". He is receding with short light brown hair and greyish and balding.
I believe he had a Yorkshire accent too.
Yes, he did have a Yorkshire accent, and what we are seeking to achieve from Crimewatch this evening is to put all the pieces together of the stockings, the candlewick material, the description, and hopefully somebody can ring in and put a name to this man who must be caught.